They say that the greatest sitar players can manipulate the weather. So ये जो बारिश हो रही है मैं कल प्रैक्टिस कर रहा था. Scene ये है. याद कर लिया.
Brilliant. So, ये शुरू आपने कैसे किया sitar playing?
I actually started with the guitar when I was 11. My mother, who came on your show, said कि ये वेले ना बैठे रहे.
अच्छा.
So we started with guitar. My brother came on the drums. And then there came a point where we moved back to Pakistan. I came here to do my A2. And then I wanted to rediscover, or actually discover, Pakistan for the first time. उस सिलसिले में उर्दू सीखनी शुरू की, रज के. And at the same time I began to play sitar as a healthy, positive activity at the Shalimar Recording Company, not far from here.
ये कहाँ पे है, किस सेक्टर में?
I don't remember anymore because it was 19 years ago, but it's nearby here, probably one sector to the west. I9, I10, something like that, or H10. And they used to have a workshop. गायकी की भी थी. वो उस्ताद फ़तेह अली ख़ान साहब जो थे गायकी के, वो वहाँ पे वर्कशॉप करते थे for गायकी, for singers. उसके लिए कोई 20-25 लोग आया करते थे. हर बंदे की आवाज़ में तो शॉर्टकट है. As far as the instrumental, एक खातून थी, Madam Basirat, who had migrated from Lucknow. She was already very old, 19 years ago, and she brought these amazing sitars from Lucknow. She would teach us, although she was somewhat incapacitated. She was able to instruct us in a way that we could, without seeing it, play it well. मैं था और दो दोस्त थे मेरे जापान से. वहाँ जापान के थे, वहीं दोस्त बन गए और उनको बड़ा शौक था. तो हम तीनों बैठ के the weird kids with the instruments और बाकी mainstream गायकी हो रही थी. That's the माहौल. और फिर बाद में मैं इसको पढ़ता रहा because fundamentally this is mathematics. What I'm showing you is applied mathematics, this instrument. And once you understand the mechanisms by which it works, आप खुद ही सारे राग सीखते थे, सारे ठाट सीख सकते हैं. और मैंने इतने नहीं सीखे, लेकिन जो आते थे उन पे एक मुनासिब दस्तरस हासिल कर ली मैंने.
How is it mathematics?
Music, at its core, is applied mathematics in the sense that the configurations of sounds are an arrangement of numbers. The combinations of those numbers sound nice or don't sound nice. It's almost subjective, but the harmonies, the resonance, the scales, the melodies, this is universal across all civilizations, that the system that underpins music is mathematical in its two parts, sur and leh, which is to say melody and beat. So if you understand that mathematics, you can learn any civilization's instrument and play it at the deepest level.
गिटार से स्टार्ट किया. गिटार की जो स्किल होगी वो फिर it must have helped you immensely, na?
It did.
In learning it.
It did. But the truth is that the guitar has a different formulation. intricacies में, I mean, fundamentally they are stringed instruments. The sitar has, 18, 19 of these.
Let's start with I doubt कि जब जो viewers हैं majority को कि पता होगा कि सितार देखा तो होगा लेकिन देखना in detail ना.
Yes.
इसकी composition को कैसे आप describe करेंगे?
The construction of a sitar is a very high example of 16th century organic engineering.
Right.
This is teak wood that makes up the neck of the sitar. On that, they use ivory, which is this white stuff,
Acha.
as the reinforcement of the neck. Then you have these knobs, which are a different kind of wood, and they're designed here beautifully as roses. Aesthetics are a part of it, but functionally, these are the tuning pegs with which I can adjust. अब मैं थोड़ा सा हसास बंदा हूँ, मैं इनको ज़रा ज़्यादा छेड़ता नहीं हूँ. अगर लग गया तो लग गया. And it's much easier to tune a guitar than it is to tune a sitar. Then you have what are called the parde, the frets. And guitar doesn't have this, but sitar you have movable frets. So I actually do need to move at least two of them, the re and the dha, depending on the raag I'm playing. Movable frets is something unique, and they're made of kind of copper.
ठीक है.
Finally, you have the pickup, which is ivory.
ठीक है. It has to be of ivory.
It does not need to be ivory, but it needs to be some kind of bone, because bone absorbs sound. In guitars, you have metal pickups. Electric guitars have metal pickups. And then you have a gourd. And the gourd is a pumpkin. This is a dried pumpkin.
Achha.
And this is the resonance chamber. Acoustic guitars have that big hollow thing. This has the hollow circle. This has no hollow circle.
And it has to be pumpkin.
We can try other fruits, but I think they picked the pumpkin for a reason. I mean, there was a lot of experimentation even prior to the contemporary form of sitar. The contemporary form of the sitar dates to the era of Mian Tansen, 16th century. Pioneering work on this was done by Amir Khusro 200 years prior. And then in South Asia, you had instruments even before that, such as the veena. And the veena would be played in this format, looking down and playing like that. There are instruments in Asia, including the Far East, which you play like that, looking down. But from the veena, then you came to the contemporary form of sitar. And then finally, you have more bone here to hold the strings. And what's different from your original question, sitar और गिटार में फ़र्क क्या है? गिटार में आप 6 की 6 तारें बजाएंगे, इसमें आप दर हकीकत एक बजाते हैं और बाकी सारी गूंजती हैं उसके हिसाब से. एक को ही मैं छेड़ूंगा, ये सा है, बाकियों को बजाऊंगा और उससे गूंज आती है. तो असल में मेरा हाथ ज़्यादा हिलता है एक सितार के ऊपर. गिटार पे एक ही जगह आप बजा ही लेते हैं, यहाँ पे ये हाथ ऊपर नीचे जाएगा. So the mechanism is slightly different. That is the fundamental construction of a sitar. Mostly organic materials, mostly keh raha hu, because yes, you have some metal and stuff, but that also existed 500 years ago. So in terms of engineering, it is a very sophisticated manifestation of what people were capable of 400 to 500 years ago.
इसका origin क्या है? सितार word ये we can date it back to अभी जो हमारे पास फॉर्म आई हुई है, इसको हम कितने साल पहले से ट्रेस कर सकते हैं? 5?
Yes, गालबन 400-500 साल 400-500 साल बरस. In South Asia, and tar means a wire in Persian, and se is the word for 3. Se 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, ये फारसी की गिनती, but it's a misnomer because se इस पे तो 18 हैं, 3 तो नहीं नजर आ रहे. But fundamentally, if I look at it, बजती यही एक तार है और इसके करीब जो गालबन है, ये 3 तारें सबसे ज़्यादा अहमियत रखती हैं. बाकियों को हम कहते हैं तरबें. Tarbe are resonant strings, and if I do a good job tuning all of these, they will echo accordingly.
तो is it possible जो पहले बहुत earliest version होगा उसमें 3 होंगे?
हो सकता है कि there was a lot of cultural melange between various Asiatic civilizations. वीना की तो बहुत ज़्यादा तारें हैं.
वीना वो जो flat वाला आपने बताया.
जी, flat वाला यूं करके बजाते हैं. Veena had many strings, and yet the setar, like the rubab and other instruments, has fewer strings. So as musicians came in cross-cultural contact, they came with new ideas and they came up with final instruments. This one received particular patronage. Amir Khusro jaise log, Mian Tansen jaise log, Akbar बादशाह दूसरे मुगल बादशाहों की बारगाह में इनके दरबार में उनको एक बहुत अहमियत दी गई. इस वजह से उनको एक फौकियत मिली. उन्होंने जो कहना चाहते थे और बादशाह सुनता भी था. And therefore they were able to push certain designs.
जो सेंस ऑफ काम ये देता है वो शायद गिटार वो नहीं देता. हाँ, गूंज की फॉर्म में.
गिटारिस्ट पे मबनी है. It really depends on the guitarist, but no, आप सही कह रहे हैं. There is a certain spiritual element which is, it sounds cliche, it is commercialized, but this stuff feeds your soul directly. Playing a guitar, you really have to be in a certain state of mind, the right type of music, the right mahal, ambience. But with sitar, I can just do this just about anywhere and start feeding the soul hard, which is good.
जैसे हम अभी सोफा को मनूवर करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे तो आइडिया आ गया. अच्छा, आपने बात की इसकी स्पिरिचुअल कनेक्शन की ना. सो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि इसकी ओरिजिन जैसे ये इवॉल्व हुआ है. सो वन एग्जांपल वी हैव ऑफ मुगल कोर्ट्स. स्पिरिचुअल कल्चरल मीनिंग्स इसके साथ क्या जुड़े हो सकते हैं इसकी हिस्ट्री के साथ?
बेसिकली
मतलब मुगल कोर्ट में सितार की क्या ज़रूरत थी?
शुगल मेले की खातिर. बट the pre-Islamic civilizations actually considered music to be a form of worship.
Pre-Islamic civilizations,
the Jains, the Hindus, and so on, they had very strong connections of musicality in their worship, in the temple complex. And this extends westwards all the way to Iraq with the ziggurats and all that. Music had a very important role in the temple complex structure. That didn't just mean standing around and singing and dancing. Instrumentality was a big part of that. And if you go eastwards from here, all the way to the Chinese Sea, instruments, and even in Japan, stringed instruments do play an important role in worship and ritual. And we are no different. In the Mughal court, it was a fact that, yes, many good singers came, lots of dancers came, but there were certain kings who were very predisposed towards just pure instrumentality. And having a voice resonate in a court is one sort of aesthetic. It's beautiful. But having the full instrumental ensemble for the grandiosity, particularly for the courtesans, khud nahi lekin bakiyon ko bitha ke, that's where instrumentality comes. But I should caution, sitar occupies the same position in music that the voice does. You cannot have a singer and a sitar player at the same time because they're both the lead role.
अच्छा, ये नहीं होता normally.
ये नहीं होता.
Sitar is something played separately.
Always. The background ensemble will be the same. एक गुलूकार होगा, तानपुरा होगा पीछे और तबला होगा, सुर और लय ये हो गए और सुर आवाज से निकली. Otherwise, you have the sitar and the tanpura and the tabla as your fundamental ensemble. Sitar is a lead instrument. It dominates. It takes the presence. It occupies also, at least in some registers, a similar frequency to the human voice. So you cannot have the two playing at the same time. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होगा? अगर कोई गा रहा हो तो वो सितार नवाज यूं बैठा बस टी-टू कर रहा होगा. चलता रहेगा. That's the problem.
जैसे हमने प्लान किया था कि बोलते वक्त अब करते रहेंगे इसका. You can try that.
और तानपुरा.
So you can try it during the next question ना. Background में वो चलता रहे.
Let's do it.
ये आपने राग का जिक्र किया था. First of all, for the listeners, it sounds so good. राग होता क्या है and how do they work?
राग जो है ये एक लफ्ज़ है जिसके मानी रंग. आजकल हम जो कहते हैं रंग है, नीला रंग, लाल रंग. तो राग एक it's a collection of notes in a certain order with a certain personality. That is its rang. And so when I say to you I'm going to play Raag Malkans, Raag Darbari, Raag Bhairavi, Raag Mian ki Malhar, Mian ki Tori, there's a vast collection of them. These rags basically imbue the mind with a set of colors. Incidentally, I have a condition, it's fairly common in people, 2% of the population, but given how weird it is, it's called synaesthesia. Synaesthesia means that when I hear this, I actually see colors. Raag mein, I don't actually see blue color, but I perceive blue in the mind, or I perceive red in the mind.
जुड़ गए हैं उस वॉइस के साथ.
जुड़ गए हैं, लेकिन मैं अगर मतलब अल्फाज भी पढ़ूं, if I read English text, I will see a certain color in the mind. Same with Urdu, but different colors. Yani Jim is blue, but J is yellow in the brain. This is a condition which is the area of emergent research. Why do people do it? And many of the greatest musicians do have this condition, synesthesia. And I'm sure that the pioneers of our music in this region didn't do this accidentally, that they said color and music must be associated. I'm sure some of them had synesthesia and they built this formation. Ke raag hai. So, there are certain a raag typically has several key factors we look at. One of the factors we ask is what is the Vadi sur and the Sumvadi sur. Each raag has one or the other with some exceptions.
ये जो ज़्यादातर words हैं ये they sound from the Hindi language?
From Sanskrit.
Sanskrit language.
Yes.
So Sanskrit और हिंदी में
5000 साल का फर्क है.
फर्क है. Sanskrit is very ancient, ना?
Sanskrit is a very ancient and very privileged language. Hindi is also a very beautiful language, but it's a reactionary language. After 1947, they said कि यार ये उर्दू ज़रा ज़्यादा हो गई है.
अब mix reactionary Sanskrit को evolve.
So we have to pump as much Sanskrit into this Mughal language as possible. The Urdu language itself was a fusion, a Lashkar language of 5, but Hindi is basically a reactionary force. By reinfusing Sanskrit morphology,
तो वो संस्कृत के अल्फाज अभी तक चल रहे हैं.
बिल्कुल चल रहे हैं.
Because I suppose कि musicians are very disconnected from politics, ना?
बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं.
Dedicated to art.
You've put it beautifully. Actually, this is a left-wing exercise, music. And the politics that the people who talk about music often have a right-wing exercise going on. But when I meet musicians from other South Asian countries, it never occurs to me to say anything right-wing because we have a common heritage. People in Bangladesh, people in Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, Nepal. So I will usually talk about technical aspects like, oh, what is your strongest raag? What do you do in this raag when you have to use a bit more energy on these notes? He'll say, or she'll say, I usually use this technique or that technique. It's left-wing stuff. But oftentimes people in South Asia are distorted by, at least partially by, a right-wing prism, which is to say कि ये हमारी चीज़ है, ये हमारी चीज़ है. This is nonsense. And actual musicians, people actually play this instrument, don't talk like that. They don't think like that.
जो amateurs होते हैं शायद वो इसमें complexities में आ जाते हैं.
खाम खा. या तो वो बजा के दिखाएं फिर. Right, that's the whole point.
So you mentioned 2 rags from Sanskrit. के जो अल्फाज थे क्या थे?
Yes, well, there's many rags. There's about 150 rags that a good musician might be able to name off the top of their head. I could probably name only 20 off the top of my head. But there's certain aspects of every rag, such as the sur that is its Vadi and its Sumvadi, which means the one that you hit as the dominant and then the semi-dominant, essentially. Then you will ask iski avrohi kya hai aur amrohi kya hai? Avrod aur amrod, yani amdo raft. And the purpose there is to say that some rags sound different when you're going down as when you're going up. Just as a demonstration, Bhimpalasi Raag is a good one. Bhimpalasi sounds like this going out. Fine. Going back up, very different.
सही है.
इसकी आरोही आमरोही बहुत मुख्तलफ है. And that's why you can characterize it, that's Bhimpalasi. And there's also one thing that some rags emphasize certain notes more than others. For example, 2 rags can often be differentiated if they're very close based on which note receives emphasis. Darbari Raag, for example, Ga is really pushed down. It'll be like this. So the point is that there's it's obviously Darbari. And Darbari has this mechanism where it doesn't go sa ni dha pa. It actually goes sa dha ni pa. Whereas the logic would be sa ni dha pa. Normally, sa dha ni pa. These two facets make Darbari very unique and very beautiful. So every rag has certain distinguishing features. And I just gave you a list of some.
And you also mentioned two other terms, Bandish and Peshkar.
Yes.
ये क्या होती हैं?
If I have to present a rag to an audience, you plus 100 young, open-minded, fun people, I can't just sit there and hit notes. It's boring. You have to structure the composition.
According to the audience.
According to the audience. But there is a standardized format. The standardized format is called the Bandish. Synonym for it essentially is Peshkar. And
ये दोनों एक ही चीज़ है.
Ghalban.
ठीक है.
Ghalban. Bandish is used by some people more. Peshkar is, you can say, a specific kind of bandish. ये मैं पेशकार कर रहा हूँ. मैंने बड़े सोच समझ के किया है. A peshkar is usually 20 minutes minimum, 40 minutes, 1 hour maximum, one rag. I'll present it to you. It's like writing an essay, like you wrote in your bachelor's. It has an introduction. This is called the introduction. The purpose is alap jise kehte hain. The introduction. What you do is you paint a picture of the rag slowly, without any beat.
Introducing the rag to the audience.
Introducing a rag to the audience. If there's a Tabla Nawaz with you, he'll just sit through it. There's no beat.
Achha.
I'll just play notes. And the alap can be anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on what you want to build. Then the intro is done. The Tabla Nawaz will start. You will start. And you will do in 2 parts. There's 2 statements, core statements in the body of your essay. The Astahi and the Antra. Let me give you...
शुरू में जब आपने कहा था ना कि मैंने इसको पढ़ा, तो आई थिंक ये इसकी पढ़ाई है.
जी, ये इसकी पढ़ाई है और फिर बजा बजा के उसकी अक्कासी करते हैं. So let's do a Darbari one if you want, just to give you a demonstration. I won't do a full alap of 15 minutes in the middle of our conversation, but let me give you 1 minute of alap, what it feels like. Hearing this, you're in the mood, you're in a certain state of mind now. If I do it for 15 minutes, you're really in a trance, and you know what we're talking about. This is the alap portion.
Brilliant.
Now, I'll give you a standard one, the one that they often teach for Darbari when you're new to it. 2 parts. The first is the astahi. That's it. And I can even say it out to you. That's it. The antra, the counterpoint to that statement, main statement in the body is then variations, then you build it up, then you speed it up with your Tabla Nawaz. And finally, the conclusion is the Jhala plus Jod, which is just playing super, super fast. And you're going crazy and you lose tempo time and you build it up, build it up, build it up, build it up, bam, you end bang with a bang. So it's actually a very nice essay.
It's a very powerful thing, na? Music. Change the mood.
Absolutely, and they are cheerful rags. It's subjective. We are also influenced by foreign cultures, Hollywood, Bollywood, etc. So what we think is happy and sad can vary from person to person, but I can make the sitar sound like it's crying. ये भी जो था बड़ा संगीन सा उदास सा राग है दरबारी, एक खूबसूरत भी खुशनुमा हैप्पी cheerful टाइप भी आपको राग बजा के दे सकते हैं. And some rags, conventionally, are played at certain times. Some are played in certain seasons. For example, ek subah subah ka rag. Now, I might get my trivia wrong here, but there's a subah subah rag like Malgans, early morning. There's a spring-ish rag like Mian ki Malhar, or it could be played in monsoon too. Ye jo Darbari abhi bajaya tha, what I played just for you, na ye andher raat ka hota hai. Jab Mughal Badshah वाकई अपने दोस्तों चिल माहौल कर रहा होता है, that's really when Darbari plays off. Darbar had a previous name Kannada, but it became so patronized at that time that it's like, this is my Darbar's Raag. Let's do it. Bam! And the virtuosity that you can show in this Raag is sublime. Some Raags allow for more virtuosity because the notes might be closer together, or there's specific markers in it that there you go, there you hit it. Is tarah karke na, people who appreciate it do pay attention to such things.
इसकी फिर गहराई में जाके सुनने के लिए भी एक गहराई चाहिए इसके लिए ना.
एक मैं आपसे गुजारिश करना चाहूँगा, for even the lay person who doesn't know these things, what we're dealing with in the sitar is sur, the melody, the sounds. But equally important is the leh, the beat. That's where the Tabla Nawaz comes in. And I've actually played tabla just to be able to play good sitar. I'm not good at tabla, but I just needed to know how it works. So you perfect together what's called the sum and the khali. This is in beats. So teen tal will have dha din din dha din din dha, phir khali ta trikatin ta, phir dha din din da. So that final dha repeats the cycle. It's cyclical. The measurement of time and measure in our music is cyclical. So when you hit the new cycle, it's always, the listener's always like, oh, here it comes, bam. And you can always suggest it to the audience to provoke them. Misal ke taur pe, there's something called a tihai, sets of 3. अब मैं आपको एक तिहाई आहिस्ता बजाते हुए, वही जो पहले दरबारी था, अब मैं, you know this now, but I can give you a tihai to tease you as a listener. Even let's do it properly. That was not proper. second दफे हुआ ना, so the second time, first you hear it, then the second time you hear it, oh here it comes,
all mathematics.
All mathematics.
ये जो चीज़ हमें एक सेंटिमेंट प्रोवोक कर रही है, इन्वोक कर रही है, वेस्टर्न म्यूजिक which includes electric guitar etc. I don't know its details, लेकिन क्या वो भी उसमें और इसमें essentially फ़र्क क्या है? ईस्टर्न म्यूज़िक, इसको हम ईस्टर्न म्यूज़िक कहेंगे,
sure.
और वेस्टर्न म्यूज़िक में और एक और क्वेश्चन ये होगा कि how does it reflect on the cultures, ancient cultures ना, of both these regions?
बिल्कुल सही. The truth is that East and West had a lot of interaction over the past 8,000 years. So the distinguishing boundary line between them is very fluid. There were people migrating from here, there, from there, here. But there are formalized structures in both that appeared around 1500, which is to say when they went through the Renaissance in the West. That's when they started to take their, raggedy traveling rogue banjo player, उसको कहा नहीं बंदे बन जा, और ये सही तरह बादशाह के उधर कर. And the Renaissance led to several following movements such as Baroque and so on, where they began to first of all write music out. Writing became a very strong part as literacy rose, and court patronage became a big. There's a lot of money involved.
Mozart वगैरह ये इसी दौर के?
ये बाद में आते हैं. Baroque would be like 16th century. The best German, for example, जिनकी हम बात कर सकते हैं, they came around 1700, 1800, so a little bit later. But court patronage was a big part of it there and here. So similar sociological functions led to certain design features, including formal structure. What's again applied mathematics is in both cases. There's both forms of mathematics, so you can appreciate one and the other. The fact that one finds more connection with this is subjective. You feel it, I feel it. सितार बजा के हमें ज़रा ज़्यादा से लगान है, इसमें कोई ऐसी चीज़ है जो दिल को खींचती है, ज़्यादा मतलब
कशिश है. एक्सप्लेन नहीं हो रही ये चीज़.
It cannot be. It's ineffable. It is ये कशिश है जो दिल में है. But the most majestic Western pieces are also very stirring, some of which are quite recent. One of my favorite composers is Shostakovich. He's early 20th century. Rimsky-Korsakov, these are Russians or Soviet in Shostakovich's case. Rimsky-Korsakov is, I don't know, late 1800s, not that long ago. And he actually has a piece called Scheherazade. Scheherazade is inspired by his interpretation of the Arabian Nights. But it is very moving. So the fact is that because the fundamental forces are the same, you can be moved by one tradition as well as the other. But our subjectivity is stronger with this. I agree.
इसके साथ आपने जिक्र किया था तबला का ना
जी.
So if somebody is playing और ये कहीं पे ensemble की फॉर्म में प्ले किया जा रहा है, तबला is there and what are the instruments?
Tanpura.
It's
optional, but it's almost stylistic. The tanpura is played with literally one hand because you don't need any frets. You're not playing notes. Basically, it's the background music. It's like the bass guitar in a sense in a metal band. बजाता रहेगा या बजाती रहेगी अक्सर एक खातून होती है. और
इसको इंग्लिश में क्या कहते हैं तानपुरा को?
Tanpura is Tanpura. It's a very specific thing. But for example, great singers such as Roshan Ara Begum, when we see photographs from the early days, she was holding a Tanpura and singing. It just keep it in key. And it's more stylistic. But you don't need a Tanpura per se. But why not? You just maybe you would argue
Compliment कर दें उसको.
Complimentary. बिल्कुल सही.
आपने किन की बात की अभी?
Roshan Ara Begum.
She was a player.
She was a singer.
Singer भी.
Gulukar थी. She was a heavyweight of the early 20th century in South Asian music. And we have crappy recordings of the 1940s and 50s, gramophone stuff, so it doesn't sound good to me. But I can only imagine what she was like live. It must have been stupefying. And stylistically, she would have a Tanpura. She didn't need it. And these days you don't hear people hold a Tanpura. It seems a bit of an irritant, especially for emotional, gesticulating singers. Having a Tanpura as an encumbrance. But करते थे Tanpura, and it gave this ambience. जिस तरह मैं भी आपसे बजा रहा हूँ, just harmonizing in the back.
वो 3-4 लोग जो जिन्होंने बहुत ज़्यादा कंट्रीब्यूट किया है सितार की पॉपुलैरिटी और लर्निंग और ग्रोथ में?
कितने अफराद का नाम लूँ मैं आपको?
बहुत होंगे ना
जी, बहुत हैं, क्योंकि एक सिलसिला जारी है काफ़ी सदियों से.
ग्रेटेस्ट.
Oh, I would say it starts the initial peak was Mian Tansen, because he enjoyed a certain patronage in the Mughal court and he pioneered certain Raags. Mian Tansen is number one. I am partial to a Gharana called the Imdad Khani Gharana. And so inke Vilayat Khan Saab jo the, he was born in East Bengal. He was a very big deal because his project, this is, I don't know, late 1800s, his project was to try to mimic the human voice with the sitar, and he actually didn't speak much in his recordings, which we have. He didn't talk too much, but his point was that this will do the talking for me. So he was a very big deal. Uske baad his...
Oh, did he succeed?
Well, that's up to you to decide. I would say no, but it's a good try. Because the human voice is unique, and we all have different voices.
Of course.
But his grandson is Irshad Khan. He's based in Canada now. He is fantastic. You should look this guy up. Irshad Khan is stupefying. He also plays a bigger instrument called the surbahar, which is rare. Rare because his family made it up 6 generations before him.
Achha.
Uski 6 pushte pehle unhone ye ijad kiya tha. Surbahar, which is larger, deeper, harder to play, requires more physical strength, and it goes 5 octaves. This goes 3 octaves. Main aapko misal दूं. Ye hai pa is a tricky one, but for example, here is sa, and here is sa. But let's take a re, for example. Ye re hai, aur ye hai re. But then there's no re here, so you can say it stretches about 2.5 octaves. So Bahar stretches 5 octaves, where he plays lower strings too. It's a very complex instrument. I'd like to touch it one day, but shayad mere mein dam hi nahi hai, josh hi nahi hai, I don't know. So Irshad Khan is somebody to check out. Aajkal there are good sitar players in Pakistan. Jis tarah ye Shehroz Hussain hai. He's from the Senia Gharana, and his father was a great sitar player, and he's the guy, for example, any coke studio video you see with some sitar, aksar aa jate hain waqtan fa waqtan. He's the guy playing sitar.
In coke studio?
In coke studio songs that require a sitar, he is the guy. So there are good people playing here, but you may not necessarily come across these people. This is something, by the way, that is just one facet of me. Often people don't know that I play the sitar. It's not something I necessarily advertise because there's no context. People are, hey, gee, economist, what the hell are you doing? Right? They don't
हम वो कल्चर वाले पे अभी आते हैं, वो तो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. इस पे विल टॉक अबाउट कि अभी तक अगर लिसनर्स ने देखा है तो इंस्पायर होंगे, यार मैं भी बजाऊंगा. हाउ कैन वन स्टार्ट टू लर्न दिस?
First of all, get your hands on a sitar. Lahore में भी बनते हैं. अंदरूनी शहर में workshops हैं. They still do it. It's a dying art because it's a fairly expensive and fragile instrument. It's very first of all, it's heavy, and yet it's delicate.
Quite heavy.
वज़नी भी और टूट भी जाता है आसानी से. So it's not an ideal instrument. Get your hands on one. Get your fingers ready for the physical duress of it. This is much harder than playing a guitar. I still get calluses. First of all, I'm often out of practice.
इसकी कोई equipment वगैरह कुछ नहीं होता
जी,
लेकिन वो compromise करेगा फिर playing को?
नहीं, एक मिज़राब है.
मिज़राब.
Do you remember this band from the 2000s called Mizrab?
No.
Okay, well, it's before your time. But there was a heavy metal band called Mizrab here, Karachi se. Mizrab is this, and I play this. Oh, here's an important difference. Guitar, the motion is rotational in the wrist.
जी.
इसमें यूं होता है. I should demonstrate this. This is very different for a guitar player. Like, what are you doing? Because bass guitar is like that, electric guitar is like that, acoustic will be like that, and sitar is like this. Totally different motion. So that's something to keep in mind. Get your hands on a sitar, get the practice, and do some study of the music theory behind this. That'll help you to see कि अच्छा मैंने राग बजाना है तो इसमें Sumvadi वादी क्या है, मैं कर क्या रहा हूँ इधर. Tuning पे ज़रा जोर लगाएं.
At which stage theory पे move करना?
Early on is best. Early on. It sounds not sexy. कि जो थियरियाँ
चैलेंजिंग है.
God, पढ़ाई इतने भी पढ़ाई.
Refuge ढूंढना इधर भी आ गई पढ़ाई.
It really helps though. It really helps, particularly if you are doing it with friends, and then you can talk through this language. When I meet other people from around the subcontinent, even overseas, We can talk through this common language. And it's good to have a professional language. Accounting, law, these are all professional languages. Economics, so we have a common means of understanding each other. So do a little bit of the theory.
आपने friends की बात की ना, my father was telling me कि मेरे दादा ने 1960s when he was about my age, तो he used to live in मंडी बाउद्दीन. उस वक्त बड़ा छोटा सा एरिया होता था शहर का. तो उन्होंने वो दोस्तों के साथ उनकी महफिल लगती होती थी बजाने की ना, तो वो प्ले भी करते थे और साथ जो आप हल्का सुर देते हैं आवाज़ का वो भी होता था. तो उन्होंने बताया कि उन्होंने फिर इसलिए कि आसपास वाले तंग ना हो तो उन्होंने फिर शहर के बाहर एक जगह ख़रीदी, वहाँ पे यूज़ टू गैदर. लेकिन उसके बाद फिर ये मैं तो पहली बार ही देख रहा हूँ somebody who plays. ठीक है, हम सुनते तो रहते हैं, लेकिन आई थिंक ये थोड़ा सा अभी कम होता जा रहा है ये कल्चर due to I think busyness of life.
Sure, I agree with you. Capitalism got in the way of my sitar. I started 19 years ago. If I had practiced every day, I would have been something really, really good, I'm sure. In fact, the people that I've mentioned to you, like Irshad Khan says that he started at the age of 4. And he got his full size sitar, this size sitar at age 10. Now, it probably wasn't this big as I am at age 10.
इसका mini version भी होता है?
Mini version होता है, चुटकू.
अच्छा.
चुटकू is a simpler, less tarbe because they're not necessary.
तो ऐसा possible है कोई adult उसके साथ start ले सके?
फिर आपके लिए बहुत छोटा है. It's like a ukulele. You
look awkward.
It'd be like a toy sitar. You don't need a toy sitar. It's like a ukulele type impression. So Irshad Khan started at 4. He got his full-fledged sitar at 10. I mean, it's quite an advantage. I started at 17 and now I'm 36. So it does take investment, and you need to have a job. You need to do other stuff.
Anything takes investment.
Anything takes investment.
Hobby, passion हो तो किया जा सकता है. आप जब play कर रहे होते हैं तो do you feel something? As a player, as a listener is something else. As a player, how would you describe your experience? A spiritual, emotional experience.
This is a fantastic question. When I'm hitting the right note in the right way, I feel like this is singing in my ear. It's saying, good job. Ruh ki ghaza hoti hai. Let's say I screw up the bend here. It's hard to screw up when you do it so much, but let's say I screwed this up. I went it's like it's slapping me in the face. But let's say I bend it in. Ruh ki ghaza hoti hai. It fills your soul. You imbibe something for the soul, and we don't get enough nutrition for our soul these days.
Again, it's ineffable.
Yes, I mean, we often draw the parallel of ghaza. Ghaza, it's a nutrition, because we don't probably have the lexical elements to describe what it is for your soul to be nourished. It's the real deal, though.
फिर वो soul पे चली जाएगी ना बात, soul किधर है वगैरह वगैरह.
Sure, but if you want to leave out the soul discourse and you want to go into the biochemistry, there are 4 sources of happiness, right? What are they? The serotonin, the oxytocin, the endorphins, and the dopamine, right? So I get a kick.
Hormones.
Right? So I get, in the biochemistry, dopamine comes कि जी मैंने राग मुश्किल था और मैं तेज बजा रहा था और I hit it right. Yeah, a challenge.
बच गया.
Challenge accepted. Challenge complete. The serotonin comes because of the sweet sounding nature of the sitar. It is more beautiful than most other string instruments. Maybe the harp is nicer for some people, whatever, but its serotonin really kicks in. And I think the endorphins come because there is an exercise element too. For example, a 1-hour Peshkar, you just sweat it out. It is tough. You feel the cuts as well. So at least 3 forms of happiness. Not that I'm a neuroscientist, but at least 3 forms of your happiness do fire in the biochemistry through sitar.
इसको हम soul के उस पे alternative पे describe कर सकते हैं.
ये भी एक तरीका.
Simple language, scientific language में. Any other benefits with respect to cognitive development? मैं सुना है कि जो लोग कोई भी musical instrument play करते हैं, they perform well in other areas of life.
There is research to indicate that there is a strong connection between musicality and mathematics.
बिल्कुल.
Because, yes, I said to you I have synaesthesia and I think in color, but it's not like the numbers are absent. I am actually deriving the colors from the color I ascribe to the number. So people who tend to be very good at music, particularly on the theory side, tend to be very strong in mathematics. And it also correlates with the auditive or auditory memory aspect, which is why people who are very good at languages tend to be very good at music.
Complement करती है ना हर चीज़ एक दूसरे को.
All three of these are complementary faculties of the mind. Developing one helps with the others.
So what else would you play? This is we are about to reach the third demonstration, ना? या second? क्योंकि एक आपने पहले की है.
Well, we've done partial demonstrations, but I had mentioned Bhimpalasi Raag, जिसकी आरोही और अमराही मुख्तलिफ हैं. I'll play a little bit more Bhimpalasi for you.
But before starting, what should the audience look for? कि ये दरबारी है, इसका touch, इसका किस तरह का है?
खुलासे के तौर में मैं आपसे ये बयान करूँगा कि it's a spring, fresh-like rag. It has some parts which have big gaps in the notes, and yet going back, it has very close notes. It has a rich softness that you should expect from a spring-like atmosphere, जो कि आजकल हो रहा है हमारा. So it's the perfect rag for these days. जब मैं बारिश ना ला रहा हूँ, which is a separate thing, how I manipulate the weather through this. And by the way, as I'd mentioned, ये जो हैं इसके पर्दे, they're movable. So I have to actually move a parda. So we'll do a little bit of Bhimpalasi. This is a Bhimpalasi's alap, and we can keep going with it if you want after.
Amazing. Amazing experience as a listener live, na?
I have a question for you. When I play these kinds of notes, don't you feel a spring-like thing in it? Or you don't? Because that is the context in which you feel this. कोई फूल टाइप, कोई तितलियाँ, whatever.
I certainly do, लेकिन मैंने क्योंकि सितार ज़्यादा सुना नहीं, तो आपने बताया कि it should sound like a spring, फिर मैंने इससे थोड़ा रिलेट किया.
ऐसे ही है. So there is a subjectivity in it. So now I'm asking and learning.
हम तो लाइव सुन रहे हैं ना, वी हैव द प्लेजर, लेकिन अगर कोई इसको सुनना चाहे एज द लाइक वी लिसन टू सॉन्ग्स, तो व्हाट आर द मोस्ट सम ऑफ द मोस्ट फेमस पॉपुलर कंपोजिशंस ऑफ सितार जो अवेलेबल भी हों?
Popular is tricky because
popular in the circle of sitar players.
You know, one that always stands out when we study sitar is the soundtrack to a Bollywood movie from the 60s, I think, or 50s, called Mughal-e-Azam, which had a very good Urdu script, very good Urdu lyrics. Usme kai sare aise the jahan pe sitar, we often practice those songs, we play them out. But there are several Pakistani movies as well where they have excellent soundtracks, and we like to play them because they picked an unusual raag. Bhairvi picked unusual, but something I wanted to train in Bhairvi, I picked that song, that kind of thing. But if you are a lay person and you want to get an exposure to sitar, you will find a ton of things on YouTube now, and not necessarily by South Asians. I've heard some excellent composers from former USSR countries, from France, from the United States, people who are not South Asian, because they take a passion in it, and it's just like something they've learned. So there's no shortage. I dare you to just type sitar and see what you come up with. Maybe they'll come up with this podcast.
गिटार में जिस तरह से इलेक्ट्रिक वर्जन आ गया ना लेटर, सितार में कोई ऐसी पॉसिबिलिटी है?
लोगों ने बनाए हैं, मजा नहीं आया. Why would you? The only thing is there's some merit in recording purposes to have a jack inserted into it and the pickups being electric, so the frequencies could be manipulated.
Instrument वही रहेगा.
What's even more popular is actually a electric guitar, like heavy metal guitars, pedal sitar version. उस पे आप पैर रखते तो suddenly वो प्याऊ प्याऊ, जो मैं प्याऊ प्याऊ कर रहा हूँ, it gives it that kind of reverb sound. But this is not electric. It's not meant for that. The engineering of this is so sublime in its organic manner. Do you really have to electrify everything? I don't think so.
तो इसकी प्राइस क्या होगी अंदाज़न आजकल के टाइम पे अगर कोई प्रोफेशनल सितार खरीदना चाहे in Pakistan?
Because I bought mine 20 years ago.
हाँ, जो उस वक्त का है.
उस वक्त का ऐसा फिटा है. Yes, but I mean I haven't treated it particularly well. But I have done concerts around the world with this guy. I have done at the Borges Center of the Performing Arts in Buenos Aires, the big venue, with this guy. Canada में एक दो concerts किए थे, France में किया था एक.
Solo.
But I do have a Tabla Nawaz with me, you know, for two of them. For two of them, it was pure solo. You're basically trying to hypnotize the audience in that case with a nice long alap.
कितनी देर तक चलता है normally एक session?
जिसको आप बंदिश या पेशकार कहते थे, ये 40 मिनट का हो सकता है, घंटे का हो सकता है. फिर अक्सर एक नया राग शुरू कर लेंगे, थोड़ा माहौल बदलने के लिए, एंड टू डेमोन्स्ट्रेट द वास्टनेस ऑफ योर रेपर्टोयर. अगर मैं सिर्फ दरबारी बजाता रहूँ 24 घंटे, तो लोग कहेंगे अच्छा काफ़ी है, तंग आ जाता है बंदा. ख़ास तौर पे क्योंकि दे आर 10 ठाट्स, दीज आर नोटेशंस, स्केल्स, और उनमें से निकलते हैं कोई 100-200 राग, तो आप एक ही क्यों बजाते रहेंगे? So I have done concerts abroad with this guy. जो आपने कीमत का पूछा, लाहौर जाके पूछना पड़ेगा, but it should be 4 lakh, 5 lakh, something like that.
Way expensive than the guitars.
Yes, because guitars are mass produced at the industrial level now in China.
लकड़ी होती है उसमें. It's a pumpkin.
Yeah, this is a pumpkin.
Try other fruits.
Yes, we gotta find the right pumpkin. And this is a very artisanal thing to make. Guitars are often now manufactured in China, for example. Even the great brands like Ibanez for electric guitar, they just have factories. Artisanal essence has gone away. The Fender Stratocaster is as commoditized as a tablespoon, right? So do you really want to commoditize the sitar? If you did, you would have to go with the bare minimum, aesthetically and in terms of sound and resonance. So cut corners करते करते फिर वो sitar
compromise हो जाएगा.
Compromise हो जाएगा. So treat it as an artisanal thing, pay up for it and share the cost among your friends and take turns playing it.
कोई गिटार प्ले कर रहे हैं तो वो कैन दे शिफ्ट टू इट, मतलब उसको फैसिलिटेट करेगा उस ट्रांजिशन?
डेफिनेटली अगर आप इजाज़त दें तो मैं just for a sitar specific audience ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि if you've read tabs, think of the sa as your zero, your open string. This is your zero, and then based on that you go down to the fret 12, and everything in between you can play. So fret 0, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12. That's your octave. And you want to go one octave below, so this is 0 or 12, 10, 9, 7, 5. So actually if you have some training in guitar, it can help you enormously with playing sitar.
बचता रहे. We were talking about career choice. Why didn't you take immense pleasure in economics, ना? जैसे आपने शुरू में बताया था, before the conversation began, behind the scenes. लेकिन there was a hurdle you mentioned.
Yes, this hurdle is known as capitalism. The fact is that this is not a rewarding profession, but it is a rewarding vocation, which is to say that if it's your life goal to play sitar, you better do it. But you won't be able to survive in the nasty hybrid of feudalism and capitalism that South Asia lives in. This doesn't pay enough. How are you going to pay the bills? How are you going to survive in a society? And will people even respect you? That is a particular social antagonism.
South Asia में तो ये बहुत है issue.
You've seen how they say,
maybe highly urbanized centers में ना हो, जो कि कम ही है. पाकिस्तान में तो मुश्किल है.
There is a very upper crust of South Asia which doesn't bother with such things. I shouldn't speak of South Asia, I'll speak just of Pakistan, because in India it's different, in Nepal it's different, and even in Bangladesh it's different. But in Pakistan, the bourgeoisie has a very antagonistic relationship with the fine arts.
In Urdu?
In bourgeoisie, जो burger लोग होते हैं, इनकी एक
burgers is a bit different from bourgeoisie, no?
Is it really? Burger से bourgeoisie से bourgeoisie. I really think it's the same.
अच्छा.
So the bourgeoisie, इनकी एक सख्त नफरत है ऐसी चीज़ों से. क्यों? ये तो बड़ा मुश्किल सवाल है.
You're talking about only सिर्फ पाकिस्तान के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं?
पाकिस्तान में जो आपकी मिडिल क्लास है, जो ये तबका है bourgeoisie, अपर मिडिल क्लास, नौदौलतें हैं, ये वो, इनको एक शदीद दुश्मनी है ऐसी चीज़ों से जिसके दीगर पहलू हैं. एक तो ये है कि जी क्या ये हलाल है हराम है, वो तो मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता. दूसरा ये है कि हमारे यहाँ एक सोचा जाता है कि जिसको ऐसी चीज़ों का शौक़ है वो एक संजीदा इंसान नहीं है, वो मलंग टाइप रंगीला बंदा है. तो हम ऐसे लोगों को अक्सर कहा करते हैं मरासी लोग, और एक नफ़रत से देखा जाता है. अगर आप इस लुग़त में इसके मानी देखें मरासी के, तो ये मीरास रखने वाला है. द मीरास इज़ द हेरिटेज. ये हमारी सकाफ़ती मीरास को महफूज रखते हैं. लेकिन हम गाली के तौर पे कहते हैं कि तू कीड़ी मरासी आलियाँ गल्ला कर रहा है, तो मैं तो स्टूडेंट आलियाँ करना. और इस तरह से एक नफ़रत पैदा होती है सकाफ़ती उमूर के ख़िलाफ़, जिसकी मैं मज़म्मत करता हूँ. मेरे ख़्याल से इसमें वो तबकाती तासुबात नहीं होने चाहिए. ये हमारे मुल्क की सकाफ़त का एक बड़ा अहम पहलू है, चलता आ रहा है. हमारे जैसे ही लोग ये बजाते थे, इससे लगान होता था, ये उनकी रूह की ग़ज़ा थी, ये उससे आमदनी भी कमा लेते थे. और जब आप बाहर जाते हैं, दुनिया को दिखाते हैं, तो आप बड़ी दाढ़ी लेके और पता नहीं क्या क्या लेके जाते हैं, या आप ये लेके जाते हैं तो आप वो उनका रद्द-ए-अमल बड़ा मुख्तलिफ होता है. I'll give you an example. We think that a lot of our problems can be solved with hard power, but actually the greatest exports of Pakistan are soft power.
Soft power.
The greatest soft power we, in my judgment, have produced, one of them is Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, who is not an instrumentalist. But in his Tokyo tour of 1988, he went to Japan, Tokyo, and he sang, and These people were so stupefied. They said, this is the singing Buddha. This is a reincarnation. He's chanting some magical sutras. Urdu mein ye ga raha tha, Punjabi mein. Wow, what is this stuff? And he won their hearts over. And no other force here could do that for a people who are so different from us to win their hearts in this way, because there's something mystical. Soft power will triumph over hard power every time. Our national identity is forged on a soft power. It is a democracy. People signed up for this, gave their lives for it. It's an idea. And you can't hard power your way through things. Or, at the very least, you complement soft power with some hard power, but soft power must triumph. And I would encourage our society to understand the power of this as soft power. When you show your image to the rest of the world, as I have been doing my whole life, but also amongst yourselves. This is a dialogue that transcends my caste, creed, faith, class, age, gender. You and I can have this discussion over this without any negativity or any prejudgment. You find it beautiful, I find it beautiful. I happen to play it, so I play it for you. If you happen to play it, you play it for me. And that's how we build connections among human beings in ways that otherwise societies do not allow anymore. We create barriers left, right, and center, and this, with this, इस ज़रब के साथ सारी दीवारें तोड़ देगा, and it'll transcend that. ये गुजारिश है मेरी आपसे.
मेरे ख्याल से लोग जो ऑफिशियल्स होते हैं जो टॉक्स करते हैं एडवर्सरीज के साथ, उनको पहले सितार प्ले करना चाहिए. नहीं,
आपके एडवर्सरी उतना ही अच्छा बजाता है जितना आप बजाते हैं, ये देख लें.
वहाँ पे लड़ाई शुरू हो जाएगी सितार की.
नहीं, क्योंकि मैं there's a very interesting comment you've made, because as I mentioned to you earlier, music is a left-wing thing, and so when I meet people from adversary
left wing को हम किस तरह से describe for Urdu listeners?
सकाफती उमूर पे मबनी. एक चीज़ है जो कि सकाफती उमूर पे मबनी है, और मैं अपने एक तो है ना दुश्मन, एक होते हैं मुखालफीन. आप जिनको अपने मुखालफीन समझते हैं, उनके साथ आप सुलह जो सलूक कर सकते हैं इसके ज़रिए, और वो भी आपसे सुलह जो सलूक करेंगे. ये प्यार मोहब्बत की चीज़ है. वो भी इसको पसंद करते हैं, आप भी करते हैं. और जो इस चीज़ को जानते नहीं, वो तो और भी हुआ करते हैं. Foreigners from other continents will listen to this, they're mesmerized. They say this is some magical stuff. Yes, it is magical in a sense, although it's based on mathematics. But अगर आपने अमन का पैगाम देना है, प्यार मोहब्बत फैलानी है, तो ऐसी चीज़ें होती हैं. इसमें तो ज़ुबान भी नहीं है. उनको तो समझने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं कि ये क्या बोल रहा है, बस बजा रहा है.
मेरे ख्याल से अगर कल्चरल एक्सचेंजेस होना शुरू हों जिसमें कोई बुराई नहीं है, आई सपोज, मतलब वो नेगोशिएशंस को चलें, किसी तरीके से इम्पैक्ट ट्रेड, ये आर्ग्यू किया जाता है कि मे बी पाकिस्तान इंडिया की अगर ट्रेड हो तो वो पाकिस्तान को डिसएडवांटेज पे रखेगी. ऐसे ही है. मैंने a long time I read ago.
Well, I've written a paper on this and argued that if you want to have trade with India, you should do your homework first. Because you have to look at the trade complementarity between both countries. They have a very deep economy and it's evolving quickly.
और पाकिस्तान डिसएडवांटेज पे रहेगा ना. लेकिन इसको कर लिया जाए तो ठीक है, इस पे भी डिसएडवांटेज में ही रहेगा, लेकिन एटलीस्ट इकोनॉमिकली तो कोई नुकसान नहीं होगा ना.
It benefits some people and hurts others. It will benefit your consumer because टमाटर सस्ता हो जाएगा, which matters a lot. दवाइयाँ सस्ती हो जाएंगी because big pharma exists in India. And other key things. Auto would be much cheaper if you have cars manufactured there, sold here. You save a lot. So the consumer benefits. The producers would be devastated, including your agricultural producers, including whatever industries. But you can make a valid argument that some of our industries that have not been able to survive without protection, such as the auto industry, should be destroyed. कब तक subsidize करते रहेंगे इनको? मुल्क की हालत देखें. So there are different groups that will react differently. But you have to keep in mind the nuanced parts. With a country like India, because there's so much poison, cultural poison, political poison, both sides raise these issues as a kind of vote gaining issue, right? Especially in India, every election they'll say they want to teach Pakistan a lesson.
अभी तो extreme होता जा रहा है, मज़ीद होता जा रहा है.
Yes, as we ठंडोफाई, as we calm down, sober up a bit,
वो गर्म होते जा रहे हैं.
And you see these cycles since 1947. जब हम वो ठंडे होते हैं हम गर्म हो जाते हैं ऐसे ही. So it's cyclical और वो गर्म होते जा रहे हैं. So they want to teach Pakistan a lesson every damn election, every 5 years. So they're going a little bit bonkers. The thing is, their animosity is not short term. It is not election cycle as it appears. Those right-wing people there, I'm not talking about regular people. Regular people are nice everywhere. In India, regular people are very nice.
BJP type.
Yes, they are. It's in their veins. That means that only your annihilation is the only acceptable outcome at the end of the day. So they, in the trade domain, will use what's called non-trade barriers, non-tariff barriers.
Bilkul.
That means that they will simply refuse to buy your product that is put up there. Your people are much more by temperament. Pakistanis are much more open and friendly. Like what you see is what you get. Whether
बल्कि हम तो Pakistanis prefer exported stuff. ये अच्छा होगा.
Bilkul. And we are very much what you see is what you get. We think we fool each other, but we can't. We always catch each other because we can't fool each other. So we don't play the kind of games that BJP type people will play in economics. So we will be decimated because they simply won't purchase. And your people sadeh hain, sharif hain, they'll just buy it and whatever. So you really need good faith on both sides. And given that they are the larger economy and larger country, they actually have to take the first step. But they're receding from the first step even as we are more and more open to lasting, permanent solutions of mutual dignity.
लेकिन अगर म्यूजिक में कल्चरल एक्सचेंजेस स्टार्ट हो जाएं तो वो वेरी गुड.
Because this transcends all their prejudices and our prejudices and everybody's prejudices. In terms of engagement, you have the B2B, G2G. This is actually C2C. Civil society to civil society. And because you personally don't have inimical interests, you don't hate people just because of where they're from, and same with me and same with most Pakistanis.
Most Pakistanis
are very, very neighborly in that sense. So they will be the right instrument for soft power in civil society engagement. So I definitely agree with you that we should foster cultural exchanges and keep the right wing out of it. Unfortunately, the BJP is encroaching into the cultural sphere. Most of your script writers in Bollywood in 1990s were Urdu speakers.
Acha.
Hard Urdu speakers. They wrote great lyrics. If you listen to the lyrics from the 70s, 80s and 90s, the songs had really good Urdu lyrics. Now it's disappearing. Ab shanivar aati, neend nahi aati. This kind of, they're just jamming as much of
politics
it as they can.
Politics is invading the culture.
But
polluting it.
Look at how their actors and their families are being persecuted there.
Bilkul.
They are actually going after them. They don't want these charismatic Muslim actors. It's disgusting. They have this whole love jihad nonsense going, which is just beneath our dignity to talk about, really.
I agree. लेकिन ये है कोई बॉडी है पाकिस्तान में जो सितार प्लेयर्स को रिप्रेजेंट करती हो, इकट्ठा करती हो कोई?
No, not to my knowledge, but it should exist.
होना चाहिए.
I agree with you, but the formation of sitar in society has often been around households called Gharanaas.
Bilkul.
For example, Irshad Khan belongs to the Imdad Khani Gharana. I don't belong to Gharana. I don't want to play these games, but and I'm not even that good. So I don't deserve to be in a Gharana. But the Gharanas are households, and they therefore have a certain brand. Therefore, they're not unionized per se. Family businesses cannot unionize.
सही है.
You see?
कुछ लोग जो ये समझते हों कि शायद म्यूजिक इज प्रोहिबिटेड इन रिलीजन, हाउ डू यू सी दैट? मतलब एक बंदी हैं जो देखते हैं और दे वांट टू लर्न, लेकिन एक माइंड में आ जाता है कि यार इज इट प्रोहिबिटेड और कुछ.
It's a profound question. It ones that goes to the root of our cultural psyche.
और बहुत opinions हैं इसके ऊपर.
बहुत हैं. And since I'm not a jurist, since I don't deliver sermons, I'm not entirely qualified, but I have heard a very strong case that in fact music is haram. If that is true, and I don't subscribe to it, but if that is true, that throws your whole ethical calculus out of whack. Because if this is haram, तो फिर सांस लेना भी हराम है, तो फिर जीना भी हराम है, तो फिर क्या एक बुनियादी, this is a fundamental form of human expression. अगर आपके लिए ये हराम है तो फिर हलाल क्या है? That's the question. और अगर ये चीज़ music, because it intoxicates, it is intoxicating. So there is a legitimate way to frame it as haram. But if
it is intoxicating,
जो नशा आता है इसको बजा के और सुन के, मैं शायद आपको ना नशा दिला सकूं, लेकिन अच्छा से सितार नवाज दिला देगा. And it stupefies you, it hypnotizes you, it is intoxicating. And therefore it is, in that sense, the case is, not my opinion, but the case is that it is therefore haram. But if that is true, then what the hell is halal? That is the problem. And if this gentle, docile, sort of genteel thing is haram, then our definition of haram gets a little bit too large, a little bit too wacky, and so you can't really make sense of things. So everybody grapples with this conundrum differently. I don't personally engage in it, because again, it's a right-wing thing. It's silly.
Right-wing discussion.
So it's not my thing.
इस्लामाबाद में कोई होते हैं परफॉर्मेंसेस वगैरह यहाँ पे?
Definitely. दो इकसाम है इसकी. अव्वल तो ये है कि लोग अपने घरों में अक्सर करवाते हैं
घराना.
लेकिन आपको कोई फंक्शन हो जाता है, लोग महफिलें बिठवाते हैं, लोग आते हैं, सुनते हैं. It's a very you can say upper crust sort of activity.
अच्छा, ये एक और contradiction है कि इसको हम high culture कह सकते हैं ना?
Yes.
लेकिन at the same time somebody who plays Mirasi,
lower caste or Mirasi, exactly.
Many contradictions.
Because the caste system is unnatural. If you're a true believer of Islam, you will think that this caste system is a satanic arrangement. It is unnatural. In fact, nature doesn't agree with the caste system. Because in history, there have been warrior caste people, Kshatriyas. I'm a Chohan, by the way. We are Kshatriyas by origin. Warrior caste people have had a lot of brains, more so than the Brahmins. And then they try to eliminate them. I'll give you two examples. Buddha, Lord Buddha, was a Kshatriya. He created Buddhism. The Brahmins activated to wipe him out. There are no Buddhists in the Republic of India. Very few. In Bhutan, in Tibet, China, idhar jaake, wahan nahi bache the. So Buddha was a Kshatriya and they tried to wipe his system out. Guru Nanak, and you know, Pakistan has most of the holy sites of Sikhism. It is their Mecca is Pakistan. Guru Nanak was a Kshatriya too, and he was very anti-caste. So the Brahmins colluded with the Mughals to persecute the Sikhs. The Sikhs have no friends. That's why they're so tyrannized, and that's why they don't know who to turn to. You know, the Golden Temple massacre in 84. So Kshatriya nature creates smart people in all castes. Allah Ta'ala ka nizam azim hai. It's not like just because I'm a Brahmin I'll be smarter. And conversely, there are Brahmins with muscle. There are Brahmins who are, you know, practical people too. So nature doesn't agree with the caste system. So there you go.
Final demonstration. कोई हमारा point रह तो नहीं गया?
मैं आपको there's so many things to talk about.
We can talk about those things.
पहले मैं आपकी इजाजत से एक राग बजाना चाहूंगा जिसकी वजह से कल और तूफान आएगा. Oh, by the way,
this was रह गया ना point. तभी मैं कह रहा हूँ कुछ रह गया है.
Okay, so the joke is that.
अच्छा, वो point जो रह गया वो मैं explain कर दूँ कि वो ये है कि sitar players by virtue of playing the sitar मौसम चेंज करने की पावर रखते हैं.
बस. Because somebody who plays the sitar and
उर्दू
चूँकि जो सितार नवाज होता है अगर वो बहुत अच्छा बजा रहा हो, उसकी वाकई दस्तरस हो इस साज पे, तो ऐसा लगता है कि उसकी कोई बड़ी कुव्वतें हैं जिनमें फिर मौसमियाती तब्दीलियां लाना भी शुमार होता है.
क्लाइमेट चेंज को हम इससे फिर कर सकते हैं.
बस सितार नवाजों को लगा दें, 24 घंटे बजाते रहे, बाकी सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा. So मियां तानसेन का ये बहुत कहा जाता था कि वो जब बजाते थे तो उनकी राग पे जो जिस राग पे मबनी उनकी बंदिश होती थी उस हिसाब से फिर मौसम अगले चंद दिनों उसी तरह रहता था. इसलिए मियां की मल्हार बहुत मुस्तनद राग है. मियां की मल्हार यानी बरसात, और ये जब बजाते थे तो अक्सर बारिश हुआ करती थी. एक बहुत प्यारी सी कहानी है कि ये ईजाद कैसे हुई. अकबर बादशाह था और उसकी बंदी whatever खान के बाइन वो नाराज़ थी. मियां तानसेन बाहर थे, बाग में बैठे हुए, यानी उन्होंने देखा कि ये खफा है और बादशाह नहीं नज़र आ रहा, यानी कि ये बाहर निकली हुई और वो नाराज़ होगी बादशाह से. तो इसने ऐसा मियाँ की मल्हार बजाई मियाँ तानसेन ने कि वो आंधी आई, तूफ़ान आया, कौन की बाइन डर गई और उसकी बाहों में चली गई. तो अकबर ने उसको बाहर से दिया, उसने हाँ ये कहानी गच मैं. तो मैं आजकल बारिश हो रही है क्योंकि मैं मल्हार प्रैक्टिस कर रहा था,
इसी वजह से बारिश हो रही है.
इससे ज़हमत हुई है, मैं माजरत ख्वाह हूँ. मैं थोड़ा और बजा रहा हूँ तो कल आप देखें क्या होता है. फिर मियाँ की मल्हार, इसका एक छोटा सा अलाप, लेकिन मैं ऐसे बजाऊंगा कि आपके जहन में तासुर हो कि कतरे गिर रहे हैं, टपक रहे हैं. बरसात के। तेज कर देती हूँ। अब तूफान आने लगा है कल।
Amazing. ये this was the best one among all.
You know,
बहुत ज़्यादा उठाती है ना मूड को.
I agree with you. And do you associate it with raindrops? Do you feel?
Yes. जब आपने कहा उसके बाद.
There you go. So just imagine how happy Akbar was. So the notion that there are superpowers associated with this, that's all nice, but for lay people out there, I urge you strongly to engage with these deeper historical facets of our civilization.
Our civilization. भूल गए ना, वो इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स रहा है वो टेक्स्ट बुक की वजह से और फिर एक्चुअल इवेंट्स की वजह से कि सब पीछे का सब भूल गए ना कि 47 से पहले हुआ क्या है, इवन 1857 से पहले क्या हुआ है, और चलें उससे पहले भी ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी से पहले क्या रहा है. तो completely disconnected from the history.
बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं. So there is a lot of richness contained within this, but if you don't like this, there are other instruments to play. And if you don't like instruments, just start singing. But have a knowledge of the Raags, have a knowledge of these sur and le. It really, no matter what your function is in life, whatever profession you have, let this be your vocation. It's a very fulfilling part of life.
कोई भी इंस्ट्रूमेंट. सितार थोड़ा सा शायद एक्सपेंसिव या टाइम कंज्यूमिंग,
पेचीदा भी लग सकता है.
पेचीदा, और अगेन फिर पढ़ाई है ना, बहुत इन्वेस्टमेंट चाहिए इसमें. हाउ लॉन्ग डिड इट टेक यू? आपने बताया कब शुरू किया था?
मैं 17 साल का था. 17 साल का था, और 20 साल की उम्र तक मैं बिल्कुल ठीक खुश बजा लेता था, जिस तरह अभी हूँ.
3-1 साल.
हाँ, वो भी वक्फों के साथ चिल में.
अच्छा, आजकल कोई ऐसा है कि कोई इस्लामाबाद में मे बी, या आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट अदर सिटीज़, इस्लामाबाद में कोई सेंटर जहाँ पे सिखाते हों एंड दे प्रोवाइड द इक्विपमेंट एज वेल?
We will have to check. As I understand, there are at least 2 centers in Islamabad, but I haven't touched base with them, and they do offer courses. The courses tend to be targeted towards young children, so if you are a parent with kids, you should think about this to deepen the mind of your young infant. Why not?
हाँ, चलें. आई थिंक जो pleasure है, it is in the pursuit of learning rather than actually learning and playing it.
You're absolutely right. The greatest of the biochemistry elements was the dopamine, the kick that you get because it was so damn hard. बाद में serotonin, endorphins आ जाते हैं. ठीक है, अच्छा बजा के, लेकिन the challenge of pursuing it, go for the dopamine. और this is just one of the many beautiful aspects of our country, of our culture, that we share with other cultures as well, other countries. It brings us all together. This transcends all of the nonsense that you are surrounded by. It's a credit to you for hosting this podcast where you want to go above such things.
मतलब सोशल मीडिया पे या टेलीविजन पे यही सब कुछ है ना, पॉलिटिक्स एक्सेट्रा, जो कि अगेन इम्पोर्टेंट तो है, लेकिन वो बहुत ज़्यादा हमारे मेंटल स्टेट को इन्फ्लुएंस कर चुकी है, मूड को. तो एक रेस्पाइट लेने के लिए इट्स अ वेरी गुड हॉबी.
मैंने तो वैसे भी किनारा कशी अपना ली है जी.
मैंने खुद छोड़ दिया न्यूज़ सुनना. न्यूज़ पर आई यूज्ड टू रीड न्यूज़पेपर्स. ओकेजनली मैं कुछ राइटर्स को पढ़ लेता हूँ, सिलेक्टेड, लेकिन बिल्कुल छोड़ दिया. और मैं पीस में हूँ बिल्कुल, एज फार एज माई मेंटल स्टेट इज़ कंसर्न्ड.
Exactly right. Lekin, I am paid to worry. I'm paid to think and therefore to panic about how the world is going. But I can still segment in my mind, bifurcate that worrying, that restless mind, given the tensions we are in, from this aspect, which is calm, which is the core. बाद में फिर टेंशन है दूसरों, on behalf of others, दूसरों की तरफ से आपको जो है जितना भी हो रहा है दबाव, वो part of life. लेकिन अंदर से आपको मजबूत होना है, और ये उस मजबूती को मज़ीद इजाफियत देती है.
वेरी गुड हॉबी. और कोई पॉइंट रहेगा?
नहीं, बस अब मैं आपसे सितार सुनूंगा चंद अरसे बाद.
मैं भी सेंटर ढूंढता हूँ, क्योंकि खुद तो खरीद के मैं इसको अकेले नहीं बजा सकता. There has to be a teacher. You had a teacher.
I did, but she was physically incapacitated. She had a shoulder issue, so basically I was carrying the heavy lift myself, and this is 2002 or 2001. So there was not even YouTube at the time. Nowadays, YouTube is your best guide. There are so many wonderful players. So I don't think you actually, many people learn many instruments, not just this, using YouTube for free.
YouTube से गिटार तो सीखते हैं
आराम से,
लेकिन सितार थोड़ा कॉम्प्लेक्स है वैसे ना.
हम लोगों को डराना भी तो नहीं चाहते ना जी, क्योंकि इतनी भी भयानक चीज नहीं है, लग रही है. ठीक है,
once you get familiar with it, ठीक हो जाएगा.
There's a great YouTuber from I think Russia or something. He pranks people. वो बच्चे का वो फिल्टर लगाता है और कहता है मैं भी गिटार सीख रहा हूँ, मुझे सिखा सकती हैं. Usually it's a very attractive teacher, some lady, and she says, well, how much do you know? और फिर वो मस्कीन सा होता है, बजाता है, फिर वो आखिर it is amazing. Just to see the look on her, the outraged look on the teacher's face.
ये एक और फायदा है इंस्ट्रूमेंट सीखने का. अभी कितना अच्छा हो अगर मैं आपके सामने आपसे अच्छा हो जाना शुरू करता और फिर हम उसको रिकॉर्ड कर लें.
Imagine if you knew sitar this whole time and now you said मैं जरा टेस्ट कर लूँ. Now that's a podcast. So डरना नहीं है और डराना भी नहीं. Just give it a shot. It is worth it. Sitar.
चलें, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर टाइम. लेकिन फाइनली मैं चाहूँगा कि आप लिसनर्स को ये बता सकें कि दिस इज़ योर वोकेशन एंड व्हाट इज़ योर प्रोफेशन, और ये भी बता सकें कि इन फ्यूचर हमारी कौन कौन सी टॉक्स प्लान्ड हैं. आई रिमेंबर वन हाइपरपॉलीग्लॉट्स पे एक और है, एंड देन देयर इज़ ऑन योलो कैपिटलिज्म. एक नेक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स मैडम ने बताया था. Are these two things different?
Absolutely different. They are the basis of different podcasts. बादशाह तो आपकी है, podcast उस पे करेंगे जिस पे आपके हैं. But hyperpolyglots. So there's three facets to me, big facets. One is this, one is economics, and one is the languages. So on the language side, I'm the founding director of CAS, which is, I would argue, the best think tank in Pakistan now.
CAS full form, Center.
The full form is
Aerospace and Strategic Studies.
Security Studies.
Security Studies.
So the Center for Aerospace and Security Studies. It is a very good think tank. We do a lot of good work. We have a merit-based, selection. I don't have any connections to the people prior to it, but they respect merit. So it's a kind of utopia we've built in Pakistan. That's why I like it.
है कहाँ पे? Located कहाँ है?
The Islamabad campus is at Noor Khan Air Force Base, Chaklala में, जो अभी Aviation City NASTEP के नाम से बनाई है. It's out of this world. It's gorgeous. I have a wonderful office, mashallah. I would be happy with a more modest office too, because the point is to do good work, and we do good work. So I work on things related to Pakistan. I work on things related to overseas. I give inputs to the government. A little bit less recently, but I have been giving inputs to the government, right for the public interest and so on. So that is one thing. I just had my 5th book come out. I have a 6th book coming out in August, and I have 2 books coming out next year as well. So the 7 and 8. So inshallah, I aim for 50 books in 50 years.
Brilliant.
So we have some time.
तो यहाँ पे हमें म्यूजिक का सीखने का फायदा नजर आ रहा है.
बस
books and everything, ना?
Absolutely, but
scholarly pursuits.
You are very much the same with your reading habit. I encourage other young people to have this too. And the third element is the hyperpolyglots. So we have a lot to talk about in that. But मेरी 10 7-8 ज़बानों में है, तो मतलब वो भी मज़े की बात है. और मैं चाहूँगा कि हमारे young listeners जो हैं वो भी, हमारे सामीन भी, उनका रुझान ज़बानों की तरफ हो, लगान हो, पैदा करें लगान को.
Hyperpolyglots, YOLO capitalism, necro economics and सितार ये हो गया. And then और भी चलते रहेंगे. Definitely.
No rest for the wicked.
Do you remember any quotation related to music?
There are so many cute ones, but you've caught me off guard, because I don't like to keep these cliches in my mind.
हाँ, वैसे कोई mind में वैसे आ रहा हो. हमारा एक थीम है कि हम एपिसोड के शुरू में we share a relevant quotation. So I thought I should ask you if you have one in mind.
Why don't you do the one about music being the soul for the food for the soul or something? रूह की ग़ज़ा यही होती है मौसीकी. It's because it's true. It's so cheesy, but it's true.
True.
That this is the soul of the food of the soul, and you don't know it until you don't really know what it means until you actually do it, and then you're like, I should just go really fat on soul food, the food. रूह को तगड़ा मोटा करके चढ़ना है.
So that concludes our discussion. It was a very fruitful discussion. More coming up, inshallah, in future. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you to you.